Right, so here is some solving trig equations practice. I know it says homework, it is not homework. Some of these problems are going to be using the unit circle, and some of them will be using our calculator. And if we do use our calculator, it should be in radians. Okay, so let's start with this first one. Cosine of theta is the square root of 3 over 2. I'm going to take the inverse of each side. And I get that theta is the inverse cosine of the square root of 3 over 2, which means I want to know where my x-coordinate is square root of 3 over 2. So I'm going to go to my unit circle. X-coordinate is square root of 3 over 2 right here at pi over 6. It's negative there. I want to stay on the right side, so the other place it's going to be square root of 3 over 2 is at 11 pi over 6. So at pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. Right, for number 2, I want to know where my sine is a half, so I'm going to take the inverse sine. And I get that theta is the inverse sine of 1/2. So I want my y-coordinate to be positive 1/2. Okay. Happens right here at that pi over 6. And over here at 5 pi over 6. Let's go to number 3. I'm going to need to add 0.23 to each side. And I get that sine of theta is 0.23. I know that's not on the unit circle, so I'm going to draw a picture of my unit circle. And I know that sine is positive in these two quadrants. So I know that I'm going to need a quadrant 1 and a quadrant 2 answer. So when I take the inverse, 0.23, I'm going to use my calculator. Inverse sine of 0.23, and I get, let's just, I guess we'll still do 4 decimal places, 0.2321. So theta equals 0.2321. That would be my quadrant 1 answer. The other answer is going to be, so this is 0.2321. This would be 0.2321. And this is pi here. And so it's going to be pi minus 0.2321. Pi minus 0.2321. And I get 2.9095. Alright, so those are my 2 answers there. Let's circle my answers. Okay, let's go to number 4. I need to divide by 2. So I get that the cosine of theta equals 3/10. Take the inverse of each side. Inverse cosine of 3/10. I'm actually going to write it as a decimal like that. I know that's not on the unit circle. So let's see, where is my cosine positive? It's going to be in these 2 quadrants. So I'm going to have an answer here, and I'm going to have an answer here. This one here is going to be 2 pi minus whatever I get as that angle. All right, so I'm going to use the calculator. Inverse cosine, 0.3, and I get 1.2661. So this is 1.2661. And then I need this answer here, which is going to be 2 pi minus 1.2661. So 2 pi minus 1.2661, and I get 5.0171. Let's go on to number 5. Subtract 3 from each side, and I get 5 times the sine of theta equals negative 1.1. We need a calculator. Negative 0.8 minus 0.3, get negative 1.1. Divide both sides by 5. And I get negative 0.22. So, did I do that correctly? Oh, that was minus 3, not minus 0.3. I just realized I had an error here. I'm so sorry. That's negative 3.8. Just notice that error. So then, negative 3.8. Sorry about that. I just noticed that it was not 0.3, that was just 3. And we get negative 0.76. And I take the inverse of each side. Sometimes I show this step, sometimes I'm just saying it. I'm trying to, in case you need to see it, show it sometimes. Theta is the inverse sine of negative 0.76. Where is sine negative? Sine is negative in these bottom two quadrants. So I'm going to have an answer here. And I'm going to have an answer here. So I put this in, inverse sine of negative 0.76, and I get negative 0.8633, which means that this is 0.8633. And it's negative. But I don't want to put that as the answer there, because all my answers have to be between 0 and 2 pi. So what I'm going to do is this is 2 pi minus 0.8633. So 2 pi minus 0.8633 is one of my answers. 2 pi minus 0.8633, and I get 5.4199. 5.4199. That is one of my answers. My other answer, since this is 0.8633, is pi plus 0.8633. So my other answer is going to be pi plus 0.8633. So I'm going to use my calculator. Pi plus 0.8633, and I get 4.0049. 4.0049. So those are my two answers. All right, let's go to number 6. I'm going to add 0.15 to both sides, and I get that the cosine of theta equals 0.15. Take the inverse of each side. Theta equals the inverse cosine of 0.15. Where is cosine positive? Cosine is positive on this side of the circle. So I'm going to have a quadrant 1 answer, and I'm going to have a quadrant 4 answer. This is down from 2 pi, so this is going to be 2 pi minus whatever I get for that angle. So let's see. Inverse cosine of 0.15, and I get 1.4202. So one of my answers. That would be this answer right here. And this one is going to be 2 pi minus that. So 2 pi minus 1.4202. 4.862, well, that's actually going to be 8630. So 4.8630. Right, number 7. Going to subtract 2 from both sides. Not 0.2, like I made that mistake up here on number 5. It's minus 2. So I get, and this is number 7, so I get 3 times the sine of theta equals negative 2.5. Divide both sides by 3. Negative 2.5 divided by 3, and I get negative 0.83. I'll just round to that. And I take the inverse of each side, so theta is the inverse sine of negative 0.83. So put that in my calculator. Inverse sine of negative 0.83. And I get negative 0.9791. Now, I forgot to draw my picture here. Just want to let it. Sine is negative down here. So I want a quadrant 4 answer, and I want a quadrant 3 answer. Now the angle just means go in a negative direction, 0.9791. So this answer is going to be 2 pi minus 0.9791. This one here is going to be pi plus 0.9791. So I'm going to have 2 pi minus 0.9791. That's going to give me my quadrant 4 answer. And for this answer, I'm going to have pi, because that's pi, plus, because I'm going in the positive direction, 0.9791. And those will be my 2 answers. So 2 pi minus 0.9791, and I get 5.3041. Because that 8 bumps the 0 to a 1, and then I get pi plus 0.9791. I get 4.1207. 4.1207. So those are my 2 answers. Last problem here on this page. Anytime I have 2 fractions, I cross multiply, and I get 8 times the cosine of theta equals 7. So the cosine of theta equals 7/8. So theta is equal to the inverse cosine of 7/8. Cosine is positive on the right side of the circle. I'm going to have an answer here. I'm going to have an answer here. Remember, this one here is going to be 2 pi minus whatever angle I get here. So let's see what I get when I put this into my calculator. Inverse cosine of 7/8, 0.5054. 0.5054, that's one of my answers. That's the one that would go there. And then my last answer would be 2 pi minus, because it's in the negative direction, 0.5054. 2 pi minus 0.5054, and I get 5.7778. 5.7778.